Happy Thursday, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I'm coming in from beautiful Calgary, Alberta. Spent yesterday, drove through the Rocky Mountains. I gotta tell you what, after being cooped up for 10 weeks, did an 11-hour car ride. I feel great. Found this interesting podcast on the history of Japan, man. It's 17 hours long. The drive home, I'm gonna finish the story off. All right. So we're here today, Thursday, May 21st, and a very exciting time as we're seeing the economy start to open back up. People get back to work. I'm getting back to cooking again, and I'm having a blast now taking some of this knowledge I've learned, some of these new recipes I've developed over the last 10 weeks, and now incorporating them into recipes that we're going to be serving out to people. All the terpene work that I've done, working with lab effects, getting to, find the perfect opportunity where to incorporate terpenes, where is the best place to incorporate our CBD and our THC. I'm really excited to sort of see people's reaction here with these recipes and that. I want to point out, if you are from Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, Fire and Flower has their Fastlane app. You can actually go on there, order your cannabis before going to the store. So it's an easy, quick pickup. You pay for it there. Or if you're in Ontario, they do the curbside delivery, especially there in Toronto. So again, great to see retailers sort of stepping up, evolving, and really, giving the best sort of clientele service that we can get up there. Also, shout out to Beast Restaurant, based out of Toronto as well. They got the Beast Bodega going right now. So if you live around the Tecumseh and King area, if you've never been to Beast before, go by, check them out. Scott is the chef, and there, go say hi to Scott and go see what they got. So, all right. So today we're looking forward. We're going to connect with out of Toronto, the founder of Calex Wellness, Danielle Blair. It's a CBD company that really was at the forefront of sort of this movement. And she'll tell her story of how she kind of got started 10 years ago and then went to business probably about 6 years ago. And, the number one question I get from people who don't use cannabis is, why do I want it in my food? Why do I want CBD in my food? What benefit does it have? So I thought it'd be great for Danielle and I to sort of talk about CBD. Where's the right place to incorporate it? How do we incorporate it? So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Danielle and I, here we go. All right, we are joined today by Danielle Blair of Calex Wellness, based out of Toronto, Ontario. Is that right?
Yeah, it's out of Toronto.
Toronto. Welcome, Danielle. Thanks for making some time to connect with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're in this such a weird time space. Over the last 10 weeks, it's really opened an opportunity for a lot of discussions to start happening. And, because people have been sort of confined in their homes, I think people have been more willing to sort of listen to these sort of discussions, that maybe in the past, they really just didn't have time for. And what I'm finding is people are sort of being inspired to try new things, do new things. We've seen this huge resurge of people actually cooking for themselves. All of a sudden, people are super into baking. They're making their own starters. People are planting their own gardens. We're seeing all this stuff sort of circulate around the importance of health and wellness. And,
absolutely.
More than ever, having a healthy, strong immune system is vitally important to our survival. Like it always has been, but I think now more than ever, people are really looking at the foods they're eating and what effects they sort of have on their body.
I think everybody just had a little bit more time to take a step back and look at how they live and be able to just sort of analyze every aspect of their life, which is it's actually an incredible time in that way, because we were able to just take a step back and stop focusing on all the irrelevant things, and start focusing on ourselves.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, it's myself, I've been cooking with cannabis professionally now for just crossed the 2-year point. I've served about 4,000 people now in Canada their first infused dime experience.
And the real surprising number to me was about 18% of those people were first-time cannabis users. So we saw a lot of people who were that canna curious, that demographic that 10 years ago was completely against the use of cannabis, and they kind of come into this space. They're a little nervous, but they're curious. And I find providing the right sort of experience, atmosphere for them to sit down, we can really make them comfortable. And a lot of the times, you may have a couple come in and one of the two people is like, I don't want any THC, can I just do CBD? Of course, I find that's the perfect sort of first step into moving to the space. So
it's a great bridge. It's a great bridge, right? Yeah.
It is. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, your brand? I know you guys have been around since 2015 and have really made some sort of headway here within not only our country, but North America.
Yeah, for sure. So we started the company back in 2015 in Toronto, and we actually opened up the first CBD boutique specific to the hemp derivative products in Canada. And at that time, there were no specific stores related to this. And just to give you a little bit of a background on the brand and how it all kind of began before that happened was my fiance had a brain tumor when he was 21 years old. So he had a MMAR, and at that time, had to grow medicine for himself, and his doctor had suggested cannabis for helping with headaches as well as mood disorders that he was having, anxiety, stress management, all of that. So he was using cannabis, but it was quite hard to function throughout the day and get things done. And I started looking into the non-psychoactive molecule CBD. And at that time, I think we're going back to like 2011 when this sort of came up, and 2011, 2012. And we were searching for CBD, and there was none. There was no products on the market. Now, when you look at the US, and there was kind of a saturation of these underground products that were coming out, and they had e-commerce based companies, but no real, companies with substance, right? And who could you trust? So, so we went out to BC, and we met a farmer who was extracting out of his farm. And we picked up a bunch of just raw CBD oil and thought, we'll try to use this product and see how it works. Now, when we brought it back and I had this oil that was a full spectrum plant-based CBD, we basically started to experiment. So people would come in the door and they'd be like, oh man, I'm suffering from anxiety so much lately. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking about going to my doctor. I'm like, try this. My grandmother walks in the door and she's like, oh, my joints are killing me. I'm like, try this. Or, even down to, our neighbor's animal having arthritis. So as we kind of saw the results come trickling in, it was really overwhelming to see the positive, feedback. And I'm like, we really have something here. This is incredible. And then the whole time that this was happening, Max started to see the benefits, right? So he was taking it consistently every single day and, started to feel the right side of his face, starting to regenerate the cells, as well as like the mood swings were like none. He had no headaches anymore. And the best part about it was he had no like high effect, right? So he was completely sober all day. Yeah. So that was really amazing. So our story stemmed from that, which then led into us building out our entire product line. And the reason we built out the product line and not just having a retail space that sold a bunch of various CBD products, which we did try originally, was because we found that the consumer really wanted to understand and know the company that they were taking, right? They wanted to feel like comfortable, and if they wanted to come and ask me a question, they know where to find me. They can speak to a physical person who actually was behind the product. Where I think fast rewind to 2015. It was all e-commerce based companies, so it was so challenging because you couldn't speak to somebody. So I think we really hit it on the nail there, and the store did really well out of word of mouth, and you know, kind of the rest is history. Now we're in the US. You know, we're going to be taking on that market quite aggressively. Canada, we did tremendously well. We're in hundreds of stores across Canada in natural supplement stores and pet stores. Yeah, I mean, we've just kind of been a part of the pioneering of that. But I think ultimately what Calyx has done the best is bridge that gap where, you know, previously when you were saying, you know, CBD is one of those things where if you're not a cannabis user, maybe you want to benefit from the, you know, the non-psychoactive part of the plant, the CBD. So Calyx kind of gave that approachable, you know, way where you could come and try our products, and they were beautiful. They looked very like clean and nice, as if you'd see them in any other boutique. And we just bridged that gap really well, I think. And the education was obviously extremely key.
Yeah, I think you really hit an important point there. There is a large percentage of the population out there that, you know, they have a lot of questions. They're not too sure. Right. They weren't cannabis users before, you know, we legalized. And I think that's one reason why I saw a lot of success with the Nomadic Dinner series traveling around the country, and why we saw such a high percentage of first-time cannabis users coming, because we created a real safe space to come into. You know, the music is perfectly selected. We want you to feel like you're coming to a fancy dinner party. You have the chef.
Normalize it, right? Just normalize it. Yeah.
You have, you know, myself, the chef, I'm coming to the table. So I actually dose all of my guests individually based on their own tolerance level. So whether you're a first-time cannabis user or a daily cannabis user or just a couple times a week, you know, we tailor the dosing towards you. And it's also about balancing the entire plant, right? We don't just want to use an isolate of CBD or just an isolate of THC. We want to make sure we're creating that entourage effect, that we're adding the right terpenes at right points. So, you know, by giving this space where someone can ask a question, and I always say to my guests, there's no stupid questions in here. Everything's brand new, right? Just ask anything, and we're here to tell you. And I feel that connection when you get the chef coming up to you personally to ask how much is going in. Right away, you're starting to feel safe, and then all of a sudden, you know what? I do have a question. Like CBD, am I going to get high off of it? Like, no. Okay, so what's the point? Why do I want to take it? And I think that's really
bring it down to the basics for them, right? So that's amazing, and the education I think is like so key, because you know, people just want to know the basic stuff. They want to understand it from like just a beginner's stage.
Yeah. You know, to me, cannabis, it's a superfood. And I'm actually working on a cookbook right now that really is focusing on the 5 main terpenes, what their therapeutic effects are, and how we can incorporate these with CBD, with THC, the recipes that have purpose. You know, I was down at the Chef to Chef conference in Charlotte before the whole COVID lockdown, and speaking with country club GMs on, you know, why their members were going to want CBD-infused meals. And the biggest thing I said is, you know, especially at a country club where people are out, you know, they're golfing, they're playing tennis, they're being active, they're really pushing their body. You know, if after
the recovery,
yeah, you know, at the spa maybe, right? So, you know, after that done is you know, create a meal using beautiful fat omega-3s, you know, a nice fresh piece of salmon, and pairing it with some broccolini and putting on just a beautiful sauce that's incorporated with CBD.
Right.
You know, we can look at putting beta-pinene, the terpene that's, you know, responsible for anti-inflammatory. So, you know, really
give it that infusion.
Yeah,
they help each other, right? You know, adding the synergistic properties, right?
That's really it. So, you know, I want to present this as a superfood, and there's a big uphill battle because we can't make medical claims yet, you know, with the properties of the plant. So my point is, let's use superfoods, ginger, turmeric, these omega fatty 3s, these really dark green leaves that we can make these health and wellness claims on. I know. Oh yeah. By the way, we're adding this extra ingredient.
That's really clever. Yeah, but we actually face the same problems just within regular products, like a topical or a tincture or any of these products. It's hard to add different additives because you can't make these claims, right? So you have to do it very clever and work around the rules essentially. So, but CBD is a superfood, and you do see this a lot more in America than you will ever in Canada. It's funny because we're so ahead of the game when it comes to like legalization, and we've done, a great job at sort of like integrating it into a new norm of Canada, right? But still we're so behind when it comes to just like experimenting with the different molecules and its benefits in different areas. So food is massive, and at Calyx actually we've been developing this thing called Cooking with Calyx, and it's just like a fun creative way of chefs being able to integrate CBD into different foods, right? And allowing our client base to just get these recipes on our website and share them with their family and try to use them for different reasons. But it's pretty amazing to see that, and I love what you're doing.
Thank you. And how do you see someone who might be curious, about incorporating CBD into their diet, or even who's never, used cannabis before, what are the real first kind of safe steps that they can take to make themselves feel comfortable, before maybe trying CBD for the first time?
Totally. So I would always say, like, you dose slow and low, like at the beginning, just, take it easy and understand that you just got to take a little bit and understand your body, right? So it's all about our bioavailability. So if you take 100 milligrams and I only take 30, we might actually have the same effects because of our bioavailability. So people don't understand that. So dosaging is a really complicated area to talk about. But I think like what you can say is just, take half of a dropper underneath your tongue sublingually, get that good absorption through a sublingual application, and figure out what doses are right for you. And then I would start experimenting into the infusion. But if it is a CBD product that's at a high concentration with almost no THC, I mean, you really can't go wrong. You're not going to add even if you did add a few 100 milligrams into a sauce that's say on a salmon, you just get a little tired. Like you wouldn't get any sort of negative effects, so to say. So I would always say to people, if they're gonna infuse CBD into their food, do a little bit just to start, and add more and more as you feel needed. But there are so many benefits if you do increase a little bit higher than a few milligrams. I think, if you're looking for an antioxidant, or you're looking for the anti-inflammatory properties for recovery, that say you've worked out, you've golfed all day, or you were at the gym all day. I mean, adding some CBD to your smoothie, or adding some CBD into your dinner or lunch, into a salad dressing or so on, because it is really beneficial to use it into a raw application. So into like a dressing that say, you can add it to, but it can only go up to 320 Fahrenheit, right? So I think there's a little bit of a catch to that.
Yeah, that's one thing that we're introducing to people, and especially with terpenes. I mean, when I'm making in a dish, if I'm using an isolated CBD or THC, I'm also using terpenes near the end of the recipe to try and bring back that original aroma and flavor of the flower that we started with, right? So there's certain applications where it really works well, and there's certain applications where it doesn't. There's a tea company I'm partnered with out of Toronto called Steep Tea, and they make the most beautiful blends of teas. And the founder, Chad, he actually started the tea company after his mom was in a car accident and was prescribed over-the-counter pain pills. And those pain pills stayed around longer than he would have liked to see his mom actually be using them.
Absolutely.
Finally, one day, he said, Mom, can I just start making you some tea that I think might help your body make feel a bit better? What he did was he infused honey with CBD, and he would make these beautiful aromatic tea blends.
Oh,
and just
so
add,
good.
10 milligrams in, and he helped his mom really make that move of getting away from the over-counter prescription pills. And I just think it's such a great story, and it's such a common story, similar to yours, where this product started being used by people when they were looking for alternatives to sort of the health and wellness of their body.
The therapeutic benefits are undeniable. I mean, and it's across the board. I mean, it's one of those superfoods where you could say, I have arthritis, I have anxiety, I have it's really overwhelming. I mean, all the different ailments and illnesses that it can cover. And people are sort of like overwhelmed by that. How could this be possible? But because we have this incredible endocannabinoid system and we're able to recept and connect, it makes total sense, right? So I mean, pharmaceuticals are always going to be they're never going to be the best thing for our bodies because they're synthetically modified. So, we have these incredible plants. And I mean, this isn't just cannabis. I mean, there's just so many incredible plants out there that are therapeutic to our body because they recept and bind and connect to our inner workings, right? So that's what's so incredible. And I'm always hesitant when a doctor says anything about a pharmaceutical. I'm researching and seeing what plant could possibly be the real deal, the one that can help. So,
yeah, absolutely. So if people are interested about your products and that, how can they find them? Do you guys have a website? How do people go about getting in touch with you?
Cut out a little. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can, no worry, I heard you. Yeah, I just cut out. It's the Zooms these days. So you can go on calyxwellness.co and you can find us there. And we have plenty of education and information there. info@calyxwellness.co is where you can reach our team. And I mean, we're pretty good with getting back to people. We get to quite a few emails a day. And even if you just want to reach out, if anybody wants to reach out for information, I mean, we're not, we're here for education.
And I think that's really vital, really key. And, that's when I came across you guys, what really stood out to me is, again, I think for this movement to go forward, cannabis needs to be taken out of stoner culture. Stoner culture has a place, but we really need to look at it in a different light because there's been decades of misinformation and propaganda that are really ingrained in a lot of people's minds that, no, it's bad, it's wrong, I'm not going to try it. And I think when we can shine it in a different light, present it in a beautiful plate of food, or give it reasoning of, hey, this is great to take at this time of the day, we can slowly start changing public perception of what it is.
Right. And it's just normalization, right? It's like, I think that was like my whole concept when developing Calyx, was like, hey, I don't look like a stoner, and I'm a mom of 3, and you know what? I love weed. Like I've always loved weed since I was like a little girl. I mean, I remember like being 15 and like trying cannabis for the first time and being like, man, this is the best. Like I never was like a drinker, and I still succeeded in life, and I still did well, and I think that it's it's changing the perception of it, right? Because of the Cannabis Act and just having this kind of normalized. But I thought that I could represent that very well, from a company perspective, So I think it's really important.
I think you've done a great job. I mean, you're a role model for anyone out there looking to sort of blaze their own trail in this industry. And to my last sort of point here, Canada, we have a very unique opportunity here where we're the only country within this sort of full legalization. I want the 16, 17-year-old chef who wants to become a cannabis chef him to have every opportunity to learn everything, to be able to attend a culinary school and get, you know, the proper information. You know, for myself, when I got started in this, Google and YouTube, and that's all that was out there. And, you know,
pioneering. That's what we're doing over here.
And that's to say, you know, once I've been sort of connecting with other cannabis chefs from the States, you know, California, Colorado, New York, you know, what I was finding is we all had our own little bubbles we're working in. But once we started connecting together and sharing terminology, techniques and stuff, what I found is there's an opportunity on the chef now to really help push this forward, because if we take it serious, like an ingredient like truffle or saffron or anything that we spend, you know, high dollar on, you know, and we present it in a way, you know, that's safe, that's enticing, that looks beautiful, it's only going to help the sort of movement go forward. So, you know, I want to see every opportunity for any person after me in Canada that wants to do this, that, you know, they don't have the roadblocks or uphill battles that, you know, we've all been facing here the last.
I know, we've been facing so many of them. And I think, you know, that's the part of like pioneering. And I'm really almost addicted to that part of it. Like I really love the trailblazing. I love the fact that, like, you know, the path hasn't been paved. So now we're in this time where we get to sort of like figure things out and move, and you're just kind of taking it as you come. But that's a part of the legacy, right? Absolutely. And I think that's what's so awesome. So
Well, I know I'm actually heading off to Calgary tomorrow, so I'm getting my first work road trip back in after a long,
that's amazing.
Hiatus.
Feels good, eh?
It feels great. So I'm
thank God.
3 little dinners this weekend, but you know, very much looking forward to coming back out east. I spent 5 months living in Toronto last year.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Vancouver.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm a West Coaster, but I'm a nomad in all sense of the word. I'm constantly traveling, moving around. You know, the last 6 months of last year, I started going into the States quite regularly every month. So, you know, opportunities were really opening up. And, you know, when I come back out to Toronto next, would love to have you come and attend a dinner and kind of see what we're all about.
I'd love that.
Yes. Yeah.
I love those cannabis infused dinners. They're awesome. And like-minded people always, right? So I love that.
Yeah. Well, the thing that really hooked me on it was, you know, we're always groups of strangers coming in. And time after time, I saw strangers become friends who would never talk to each other outside of that dinner table, right?
Totally, the diversity, right?
Cannabis really relaxes people to just share, be friendly, connect with each other. And
be themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. But Danielle, thank you so much for making time for me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and look forward to meeting you in person sometime soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks. All right, thank you so much.
Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Mike is unmuted. Those cannabis dinners, they are a lot of fun, and we are super I say we, it's just me. I'm excited. Just small 6-person dinners tomorrow, Saturday, then off to Kelowna, then back to Vancouver. So, hey, if you want to come check out one of my dinners and you're out in Vancouver, actually the next 2 weekends, we've got some availability. We only take 6 people. We practice all the health and safety standards. But yes, if you're missing sitting down, eating food that you didn't cook, having someone clear your plates, come check us out. Or you want to book your own dinner party, get your friends to come to your house, we do that as well. So go check out the nomadcook.ca and see all about it. So teach you a little recipe. I always get people asking me, you know, what's the easiest way that I can incorporate cannabis, you know, an infused oil or something into a recipe? Salad dressing. Salad dressing, because there's no heat required. We're not going to lose any of the infusion. So we're very, very simple. We're going to need garlic, vinegar, infused oil, some salt and pepper, maybe a little Dijon mustard. Right? That's all we need. We're going to blend it all up. So right here, grapeseed oil. I've infused it with some cannabis, about 3.5 grams. Right now I've got about 1/3 of a cup left, and there's probably about 80 milligrams now. Dijon mustard, Got our garlic. I'm going to put it, really easy way to make a dressing. Blitz it up. So let's put it into the blender. Okay? Just like that. Vinegar. So this here is a yuzu rice vinegar. I'm going to add about a tablespoon. Okay. Dijon mustard. Dijon. Just a little bit. Just a smidge. All right. Next, this comes with the Airbnb. This is a salt and pepper shaker. Got some pepper. We'll get some salt. This is actually the wrong kind of salt. You want to be using kosher salt. Big rock sea salt is a finishing salt that we put on the very end. Okay, we got our salt. Next, let's go. Add our oil. We get real fancy. Woo! Okay. And then we're going to blitz it. All right, and the reason we want to blitz it, you can hand whisk. You're really going to want to make sure you emulsify that infused olive oil in everything so that when we pour it on top of our salad, everyone is getting an equal distribution of THC. All right, so you can see it there. We're just going to do this. Oh, yeah, see how thick and creamy it is? Got that little hint of cannabis, got the nice yuzu rice vinegar. Bam! It's good. It's going to make your greens sing. All right, next up, we're going to head over to Toronto. Get the boys from Steve T making more cocktails. Check it out.
Here are the ingredients that you'll need. 1 cocktail shaker, ice cubes and lemon for garnish, some Egyptian goddess that has been steeped for 3 to 5 minutes and let cool down to room temperature, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, a 1/4 shot of lemon, and 2 teaspoons of infused honey. Visit the education section of our website for more recipes. We'll start by adding the infused honey. 2 teaspoons equals 16.33 milligrams of THC or CBD. Next, the lemon, followed by the sugar, and lastly, the Egyptian goddess. Cap your shaker and give it a good shake until everything is dissolved. Pour, serve, and enjoy.
That's a good-looking cocktail. I'll tell you what, if you have not tried the Steve Teas before, go to stevetea.com, go on Steve Tea's Instagram. Honestly, the best tea out there. And I'm not just saying that because it's a part of the company, because it's fucking so good. I even enjoy it a little more chilled. I make these beautiful chilled teas with it, so very nice. All right, so this Thursday is coming up to a close. I want to thank Fire and Flower. I want to thank Lab Effects. Next week, we got Scott Holden from Lab Effects joining. We're going to be taking live questions on terpenes. So if you want to know something about terpenes, you got a specific question, you got any questions, come join us 4:20 next Thursday and ask Scott, ask myself. I'll tell you what we know. All right, so we're going to finish up being here in Calgary. I thought we got to touch into the Calgary music scene a little bit. So we've got Rachel Geek coming up, playing a little song for us. Rachel from Calgary. All right, everyone. Thank you. Wash your hands.
Hi, I'm Rachel Geek. I'm based out of Calgary, Alberta. I do singing, rapping, live looping, producing, and I like reverb. I'm gonna do a song I wrote called Changes.